Hello everybody. Sorry I couldn't make it this weekend to the conference, but unfortunately my health is not as good as I would have liked, and because I've been having severe stress problems related to precarious employment, I'm unable to travel. But what I'd like to do is sort of wish everybody a good conference and exchange ideas so that we can move ahead and make some progress on our predicament at the moment. I had one or two ideas myself, and one of them would be preparing an Ontario-wide case to the Ontario Ombudsman complaining about the lack of fairness in our employment contracts, given that we are squeezed usually between the administration and quite often unions representing the tenured faculty. It's certainly in the case at Carleton, we get very little help from them, and the management, of course, use the QARSA collective agreement as a stick to beat us down so that we can't actually fulfill any, actually make any meaningful progress. And I think until somebody in the Ontario provincial government starts to take it seriously, and it could be the Ombudsman, or it could equally be the Auditor General, because I think there's a case to be made that money that is being spent by the provincial government is not actually being spent on teaching functions, it's actually being diverted into research functions. And my contention is that the students of Ontario are actually not getting a good deal from the universities because the standards of teaching are not high enough anymore. The class sizes are very large, contingent faculty are often teaching several different places under high stress. There is no continuity. People wanting references, for instance, later on may not be able to track down the instructor who taught them for courses. And I think that the universities, which are engaged in basically a chase for international ranking positions, and if you look at international ranking criteria, they have very little to do with quality of teaching. And I'm going to write something about that fairly soon. And so I think there's actually a good case to be made that Ontario taxpayers' money is not actually being spent terribly well by the universities. And it's all very well for the Ontario government to maintain a hands-off policy, which is quite reasonable because we don't want them dictating who can actually be appointed. But they could at least make some sort of policy statement on reasonable terms of employment for contract employees, if they are in the Ontario university system. So there are a few ideas I'd like to just sort of throw around for you to discuss and see what you think. I was considering sending a personal complaint about my treatment at Carleton to the Ombudsman, but I have a feeling that a concerted effort by a consortium of universities across Ontario, preferably all Ontario universities, would actually carry a lot more weight than just a single complaint. The alternative, of course, is to put in a whole raft of single complaints and say, hey, there is a systematic problem here because we now have several hundred complainants from virtually all the universities in Ontario, all saying roughly the same thing. So there are a few ideas I'd like to throw out to you, and hopefully I will get to see some of you at some time if you're ever in the Carleton area. So good luck with everything and carry on this weekend. Bye.